Hi, my friends. Welcome to the year 2023. I'm so glad you're starting it off with the Make Time for Success podcast and me. I'm so honored to have you as a listener and to have this opportunity to talk to you today about how to reach your goals in 2023. I think goal setting and goal planning and productivity are topics that are near and dear to my heart. But I also think there are some ins and outs that we sometimes bypass and we forget. And when we don't implement these really important pieces to goal getting, we then end up missing our goals and then we end up feeling frustrated. And I want to help you feel really clear about your goals and really clear about how to get them this year. So let's start. I have 5 major topics to discuss today with some subtopics within each topic. And let's just get going now. The first topic is important. I want you to avoid looking for blame. Instead of blaming the tech, instead of blaming your finances, instead of blaming your low energy or your lack of time, I want you to just make a rule for yourself this year that you're not going to look for blame. You're not going to try to blame your lack of results on something, some event, or someone. Instead, you're just going to take blanket responsibility for everything that transpires, whether it's good or not good. It's all on you, but in a good way. Because when you're not looking all around you for things to blame or excuses to get you out of something, then you know what happens? You end up being much more focused and much more powerful in your goal reaching efforts because it is all on you, because there really isn't anyone that's really to blame if you're not getting to your goal. So straighten up your perspective, release the need to blame other people or blame other factors. And I think you'll find that you'll have much more clarity about what you need to do in order to actually get your goal. So don't look at this tip as like, oh, well, now I'm in trouble if I can't blame anyone. Look at it as kind of a ticket to freedom that you really can actually take responsibility for the most important things in your life and for getting your own goals to happen. The second tip that I have for you is to replace that blame searching energy with energy of finding clarity for yourself instead. Figure out why you're looking for this goal. Figure out why this goal is important to you. Figure out why you're the person who needs to get this goal done. Figure out why it's important that you do it this year instead of next year. Why now? Figure out why it's important to the world. Why should other people care, if they should care, that you get your goal done this year as well? So look for that clarity that will keep you steady in your efforts, because if it's a big goal, likely it's going to take lots of different mini steps, micro steps along the way. And you want to always remember what your why is. Why did you pick this goal? Why is it important to you? Why now? And why do you need to stay consistent until the end? The third tip that I have for you is really, really, really important. I think it's very much what I like to specialize in when I help my clients. And that is helping people to learn how to get out of their own way. So the third tip for you is to figure out the best ways that you can plan to get out of your own way in 2023. And I have some examples for you. You can decide for yourself, in what way can I make myself more consistent this year? Instead of going to the refrigerator every time I'm bored or frustrated or confused, maybe I could just stay the course. Instead of deciding I'm going to skip the gym this year, I'm going to make a plan with my friends to meet up at the gym. Those kinds of plans. You want to make sure that consistency is a no-brainer for you. You want to set those weekly dates. You want to mark those times in your planner and make sure you show up for yourself. So decide how you're going to stay consistent for yourself this year. And when you stay consistent, the results are better. You see improvement. You see pride in yourself. You see people noticing that you're showing up all the time. There are lots of benefits to upping your consistency. Another tip for how you can get out of your own way is that you can take some time and work on strategies for strengthening your focus and your energy. So that might be going to the gym. That might be eating better. That might be ridding your diet of junk foods. It might be getting a couple more hours of sleep every night. It could be just doing some deep breathing in the middle of the day. But you have to come up with your own strategies for ensuring that you don't run through the day feeling like a stress case, that you don't feel like you're the worst person for this job. You want to make sure that your focus and energy are intact, ready to go, ready to support you through any difficulty, through any challenge, and definitely through to your end goals. Another tip that I have for you for getting out of your own way is to implement processes that make things easier for you. A couple days ago, I decided that I was going to do 100 days of strength training just by myself, not even 100 days in a row, but I just came up with that number and I told everybody on Instagram stories that I was going to do this. And for me, that was my mini process to keep myself accountable, to make the weight training not such a big deal, but to also make it a big deal that I'm going to show up for myself. I'm going to show up for my followers on Instagram stories who are going to watch me go through 100 days of weight training. And I imagine that after 100 days of doing weight training, I might feel differently. I might be stronger. I might look differently even, but I know I'm going to be proud when I reach that number of 100. So think for yourself, what process can you put in place to make sure you show up for yourself, to make sure you don't forget what your New Year's goals and your New Year's resolutions are? Another tip that I have for you is about communication. Who do you need to communicate with to make sure that you have an easier time or a more fun time heading towards your goals? It might be your children. You might need to ask them to be more timely or to be neater in the house or something like that. It might be your coworkers. You might need them to leave you alone after lunch because that's the time that you've decided is going to be your go time, your highly productive time where you actually can't can't lose that time, for lack of a better way of saying it. You can't lose that time socializing because that's your tiger time. That's your time when you're most focused. So you might need to communicate with your coworkers to make sure you get your goals. You won't have to lose out on socializing because you could socialize in the morning or at nighttime or on the weekends with your friends and your coworkers. So allow yourself to set some boundaries so that you can have more time, have more focus, have more energy to get to your goals, and so that you don't get in your own way. Now, major tip number 4 for you for reaching goals in 2023 is I want you to take a look at what you're thinking and what your resistance is when it comes to thinking about the big goals you have for this year. What makes you feel like you just want to give up? What makes you feel like it's just a little bit too difficult or a little bit too outlandish for you to get? Or maybe it's a little bit too bold for you to even think of reaching and getting in 2023. And I want you to identify your fear and resistance, but then I also want you to neutralize that fear and resistance so that you have a much better chance of beating it. Because when it comes down to it, it's like I said in tip number 1, you need to take responsibility for owning this as your goal and owning your process and path towards the goal. That it's really you. Nobody's really going to block you. And that's a interesting lesson to learn in life, that nobody's really out to block you in terms of you getting to your goals. So if you're facing your own resistance, let's take that seriously. Let's not make excuses around it anymore. Let's not eat our way around our goals anymore. Let's just decide, you know what? I'm an adult. I'm taking responsibility. This goal is really important to me. I know why I'm doing this goal. I've made a plan for it. Now, why is it still difficult for me to show up for myself? And do that deeper work with yourself. If you're having trouble doing that deeper work, I encourage you to get support, get professional help, get a mentor, get a coach, get a therapist, get a friend, get someone who's not you to help you to beat your resistance, because your resistance is your mind and body trying to keep you safe. But you have to decide that you are safe, and that what will make you even safer is actually getting yourself into action and getting towards your goals. The fifth tip that I have for you, the big tip that I have for you for getting your goals in 2023, is that I want you to start a new habit. I want you to start seeing everything and every action that happens in your life, every event, as serving you in some way, supporting you in some way, rather than draining you or taking opportunity away from you. I want you to see the world and your life and your experiences as filled with abundance, as structured by abundance, that everything is workable, that everything is doable, that you can do the things that you want to do. And when you have that stance towards your life and towards your skills and towards your body and mind, I think you turn yourself into a superhero. I was going to say a super agent, but that's not a thing. A superhero. You become your own best friend. You become your own best tool for getting things done, big things and small things. It really works really well. So I hope you take tip number 5 of supporting yourself in every way really seriously. I hope 2023 is your best year ever, or best year yet, I should say, because there are great years ahead of you still. I want you to believe in yourself. I want you to believe in your opportunities. I want you to believe that your big, hairy, scary goals are doable this year. And I wish you all the best. I'm here for you all the way. And again, I want to thank you for being here on the Make Time for Success podcast. It's going to be a great year for this podcast too. Just stick around and watch. All right, take care. I'll see you guys next week, Thursday, when the next episode drops. Bye.